But, and I would say the majority will go toward the light because they don't know any better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think if this all of reality is like a dream or consciousness, and I think it's based off of intent and belief systems and expectations and all that. So yeah, that whatever you believe and expect, that definitely, of course, desire plays into it some, but yeah, all that kind of creates whatever that afterlife reality is going to be, in my opinion. So here's a section where he talks about the matrix itself and the energy fields that create it. So he says, we created it and then forgot we created it, and some nasty negative entity called the demiurge took the credit. Someone designed the damn thing so that people would feel pain. He said, the archons were using our energy that they harvested from us to program the matrix the way they want to. The energy they used is energy they harvested from us. So I realized that they were using our energy to program the matrix, but we can wake up and take control instead of having our reality dictated to us. The physical world is a super dense, programmed dream world. The entire system of control is based on a limited reality program. Everyone has their own reality bubble, and that when we interact with other people, if we try to impose our will on them, which is bad, we are energetically trying to overwrite their reality. This must also be why the elite tell us their plans. We are sovereign beings. They have no right to interfere in our reality, so they tell us in entertainment. But if you see it and don't consent, they have no right to impose on your reality. The matrix is an illusion. It's not physical. It just uses programmed energy fields to create the illusion that it is when it isn't. It's created by energy fields. Solid objects are really just energy contained in something like a force field. The outside surface of objects is maintained by rigidly controlled force fields. There's a force that is actively maintaining their shape. The only reason the physical world seems physical is because there's an energy field that blankets the planet that creates the illusion that it's physical when it isn't. If you can see through this energy field, you'll see that it's just a dream world. So seemingly physical objects are really just light shaped by force fields. The physical world is just another afterlife world. It's a dense programmed consensus reality created by the subconscious minds of the population. The reason it seems so limited is because the programming is being enforced by the subconscious minds of the population, but we can take conscious control and turn it into a paradise. The matrix is created by layers of programmed energy fields and is run by an AI. It is created by the subconscious minds of the population and run by an AI. The AI uses the grid to try to make sure the negative and positive energies don't go too far out of balance. It's maintained in a state of duality. The matrix is literally just a bunch of energy fields. It has no solidity and is not physical. There's an energy field that tries to make the physical world seem physical when it isn't. That's an illusion. There's an energy field that makes the physical world dense, an energy field that makes objects and people more dense. I can sense it with my psychic abilities. There's a grid system that runs through the planet and into our homes. There are also huge negative energy fields in the atmosphere. We are bathed in these energy fields, and most people don't even know that they are there, probably because one of those energy fields tries to suppress psychic abilities, but you can override it easily. There's also an energy field that suppresses the psychic abilities and makes it difficult for people in the astral to interact with us. An energy field that suppresses psychic abilities, which is why I didn't sense that an energy field was making the physical world dense. There's an energy field that tries to suppress these psychic abilities and make it difficult for us to interact with ghosts and entities and people in the astral. There's an energy field that tries to wipe dream memories, that tries to stop the download of memories of dreams, lucid dreams, and OBEs. The physical world isn't physical. I can sense that as just dense energy shaped by something similar to force fields. It's basically a holodeck, just not a technological one. It's created by the subconscious minds of the population. There's energy fields that hold us in the physical body. I was practicing raising my vibration, and I could sense a very dense energy field that holds us to the physical body. Everything is just vibrating energy. The physical world is on a low vibration. So when you raise your vibration, you start to go out of phase with it. Raise your vibration so that you're no longer on its frequency and you shift out of it. I practiced neutralizing the energy field that holds me in the physical body, and I was able to do it, but I felt like I was dying. When I raise my vibration, the energy field spins faster, so I know I can manipulate the energy field that holds us to the physical body. Compared to that, manipulating this energy field is easy because it's a lot less dense, but it's the key to understanding how the matrix works and how to leave without having to go through a painful death. The reason why the physical world is so dense is because there's an energy field making it more dense. He says, when I make myself less dense, the AI has tried to use energy fields to make me more dense, but apparently there's an energy field that is on most of the time that tries to keep things dense. The matrix is an elaborate hoax created by layers of energy fields, and there are energy fields that try to keep you ignorant of those energy fields and your perception within the five senses. And there are energy fields that try to mind control you and impose programming on you. I started having an out-of-body experience and could feel the energy field that holds you to the physical body. It's like it has rings that go around the physical body. The matrix has levels that extend into other dimensions, and then there is the matrix grid that runs through the planet that the elite use to transmit negative energy. I was able to neutralize it with love. So the matrix is a complex energetic control system. It has layers of energetic programming to try to prevent you from seeing it's a matrix. If people figure out that it isn't physical and it's really just energy, they may try to manipulate it with their mind. If they learn to make it less dense, it could bring down the control system.
So, yeah, wait a bit. So
yeah.
you said something that okay, they have to tell us, be it in entertainment or whatever, what they are going to do. Otherwise, they have no right to infringe on our lives.
It also makes it easier for them to convince us. If that has to be their MO, like if they don't have the power to do it over us, like if we're all sovereign beings and have absolute power, the only way they can get us to do it would be by somehow convincing us to do it, you know. So I think that's easier for them to manipulate us that way. And so, yeah, I think also some of them believe that the karma won't come back, the negative karma won't come back to them because they can say, well, we told them and they did it, so we're not held accountable
what
for
then
that.
happens when we say no?
If we say no, then like we won't have to come back here. I mean, if you like I said, I mean they get us to with our belief systems and our through the religion and politics and everything else and entertainment, you get us to adopt these beliefs, and so we're more easily controlled and manipulated into doing what they want us to do because they don't have the power to do it just straight out, you know.
But here in 3D, it has no consequences whatsoever when we say no.
Oh, in the 3D, if we say no, I do that all the time. Like if I feel like something's trying to manipulate me or I have a bad thought or something or fear or something like that, I'll just mentally in my head, I'll scream no. Like I'm not going to allow that to happen. And I don't know if it works enough, but I do it all the time.
Yeah, because I have seen a lot of infringement, let's say roughly the last 2 years.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of people said no, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I think once you sign up to come here, you volunteer to come here, then you do make there's contracts that are involved in this. And he didn't mention anything about contracts, but you hear some near-death experiencers talk about it, and so you make agreements to come down here. And part of those agreements are to probably you're making a commitment to go through this experience, and it may be bad, right? And so we just kind of signed off our consent before we came here.
But you can revoke those contracts.
Yeah, but it's not super duper easy. So I mean that still remains to be seen. I've revoked the contracts myself, and I've done things like that, but I'm still having bad things happen. So I mean, either I'm not doing it right, or it's not as easy, or it's not possible. So
it is possible, of course.
Well, right. So anyway, he talks a little bit about the role of the subconscious, and he said the truth is what you see is just a thought form. If you're alone in your own world, your subconscious will manifest stuff. Sometimes you're in space or just an empty void. Either way, the world is created entirely by you. You can take control of this process and manifest what you want. But if you don't, your subconscious will at least manifest something, unless you find yourself in a consensus reality created by other beings. In that case, you will see and interact with the world that they have created. You can change these type of places, but as soon as you stop focusing on the changes, they will revert back to the way they were. Whereas if it's just you in your own world, you can make it whatever you want it to be. But the real problem is the subconscious hive mind. The subconscious minds of the population are propping up the matrix. The subconscious hive mind is the backbone of the matrix and creates reality. When enough people wake up and see that, we can put an end to this madness. We just need to wake up and realize that, and we can reprogram the matrix into a paradise.
So let's say you have a group of really dedicated humans that are focusing on bringing that energy grid down, which makes up the matrix. Then would the rest of the population fall out of their slumber?
They certainly might, because if we can demonstrate and show them what is possible, then they'll either get super fearful and come and attack and destroy it, or they will say, hey, wait a minute, we can do that too. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, because if we're healing things and making things better, then I think they would want to do that too. So here's a section on using our godlike ability, our godlike superpowers, and avoiding entities. So this is a good important one. He says, so it seems we really are gods who have been tricked into thinking we're ordinary people, but in the astral, we are capable of doing things that are godlike. Having superpowers is really awesome. It's really awesome to just try to do superpowers during lucid dreams and OBEs. You'll definitely learn really interesting ways to deal with negative entities, and you'll find there is nothing you can't do. The possibilities are endless. In the astral, no prison can hold you. No god can imprison another god. The only way they can imprison us is to trick us to reincarnate, but they can't make us do anything. And if we don't go along with them, there is nothing they can do. Their whole MO is to rule by deception. Anyone who has to use deception is not ruling from a place of strength. Quite the opposite. If they were more powerful than us, they wouldn't hide who they are or what their intentions are. I really am learning all of their tricks. I'm sure they're not happy about it. In fact, they frequently harass me in my dreams. They will often pose as dream characters, thinking I'm too stupid to figure it out, but I can sense their negative intentions toward me. They just try to scare me, but that didn't work very well. There was one time where I was being shot at during an OBE, and I caught the bullets with my bare hands like Superman does. That was pretty cool. Then one time during an OBE, I was in a cathedral, and I wanted to get outside, so I flew straight up and smashed through the ceiling with super strength. I also once ripped a huge machine apart with my bare hands. I can choose not to be affected by the gravity of a black hole, and I've been able to zoom in with my vision. I also had a lucid dream where there were like 100 people trying to kill me, so I took off flying straight up, and I imagined that a miniature sun was forming below me, and it worked. Most likely all my assailants were incinerated instantly. I also had a vivid lucid dream where I created a thought form to spar with. In one of the lucid dreams, I was in some kind of heaven world. I'm pretty sure it was one of their heaven worlds because they were trying to memory wipe me again. Obviously, it didn't work. To protect myself, I manifested a helmet to block the memory wipe. At first, it didn't seem to work, so with intention, I cleared away all of the memory wipe energy that was inside the helmet. I used intention and cleared the memory wipe energy from inside the helmet, and it worked, and I could think more clearly. So I intended to teleport to the beach, and the next thing I know, I'm there, but then the cloud shows up again. So then I manifested an energy shield around me, and with intention, I cleared all the cloud's energy from inside the shield. So shields and armor are pretty useful for keeping things out. I once used the helmet to block the memory wipe. So if they tried this kind of crap, put up a shield and block them. I've learned how to block memory wipes and other psychic attacks that enemies might try. I can just put up a mental barrier, and the memory wipe can't get through it. I've also learned that I can just make myself immune to memory wipes and immune to the influence of other entities. You can neutralize energy that other energies project toward you. I've used this trick to neutralize memory wipes. I've had a few more interesting OBEs, and one of them, I was outside minding my own business when something pulled me off the ground and into the sky. So I fired 2 tendrils from my hand, and they latched onto the ground. Then I used them to pull myself down. Then in another OBE, some entities tried to teleport me somewhere without my permission, but they weren't able to because I didn't let them. In another OBE, I was on a couch somewhere. I heard entities nearby, so I pretended to be asleep. But one of them could sense that I was still awake. So I got up and put on a shield, and then reached out my arms and spun around like Superman, hitting them all at once. He said in one other one, he imagined a white light around him made of love, and it radiated through the area. And it was a much higher frequency than the entity that was bothering him. After a few seconds, the entity was gone. So yeah, he's used love to repel a negative entity. It's a much more effective way to do so than to get into a fight with him. He said if you can become invisible and intangible, they wouldn't be able to catch you because there's nothing for them to grab onto. Combine that with teleportation and super speed, and they would never bother you again. If we can make ourselves intangible in the astral, maybe that is the key to avoiding all this crap. Maybe it's as simple as choosing not to be affected by people in the environment. You can just intend to not be influenced by other entities, then they won't be able to affect you. I found that's the best way to deal with them, so it's best to know as many tricks as you can. I recently had a lucid dream where some entity was trying to memory wipe me, so I just used the intention that memory wipes don't work on me. So you can pretty much intend not to be influenced by other entities, and they won't be able to do jack to you. I ran into the white light in a lucid dream once, and I used the intention that entities can't influence me. As a result, the light had no effect on me. I ran into the white light before I learned to do this, and it actually grabbed me with tentacles and started pulling me somewhere. So I imagined that the tentacles were cut, and it worked, and I was able to get free. Usually, though, when something tries to grab me, I just make myself intangible so they can't touch me. The real trick to controlling your reality and dealing with negative entities is to master your energy and reclaim your sovereignty. So revoking soul contracts is important. Any agreements you made with negative entities need to be revoked. It's a pretty simple process. You revoke the agreement, revoke any reinstatement clauses, and revoke any counterparty agreements held by other entities. See, I didn't do those things. Another thing that is important is cutting energy cords with negative people and entities. I cut energy cords with negative energies and got a surge of energy. Raising your vibration helps because you are more out of phase with anything negative, and negative entities won't want to be near you. Another important thing is healing traumas. There's a reason why they want people to be traumatized, because it rips holes in your energy field and it makes it easier for them to feed on your energy. Another thing that is important is to learn to control your reality bubble. When someone is trying to impose their will on you by force, they are energetically trying to pry into your reality. So you have to counter them energetically and push them out of your reality bubble. Another thing important to do is to clear your energy field of negative energy. You can do this by imagining high-frequency white light around you. If you aren't putting out negative energy and you're on a high frequency and you don't have holes in your energy field or negative energy cords, negative entities aren't going to want to be around you. I keep practicing and keep getting better because if I do run into the recycling crew when I drop dead, I will be ready for them. So
I have one thing about cutting the energy cords, yeah?
Okay.
Maybe it's a better idea because if you cut something, it can grow back.
Right.
And maybe it's better to, I'm missing the word.
Disintegrate it?
Not disintegrate.
Destroy
but, it? No, not destroy. What's the opposite of entangled?
Of entangled? Unentangled?
Yeah, but you know what I mean, that you do not just cut it, you slowly but surely and with a lot of patience, you get it completely out of the counterpart. But you take your time and it goes, bit by bit by bit until it's completely loosened, and then there is nothing that can grow back.
Well, the key thing is intention. So, but yeah, you're right. You have to have the knowledge to know what to make the intention about, right? If you do the wrong thing, if you intend the wrong thing, then it won't be quite as successful.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and says quite a bit about don't come back here to Earth. He said you would think people would be tired of this crazy world and would want something better. Most people, though, are tricked into it. Unfortunately, as long as there are people who are easily fooled, there will always be people trying to fool them. The only way it will stop is when people stop being fooled. They're going to have to figure it out for themselves, and I damn sure wouldn't come back here for another round just to help them. The problem is that with a lot of people, the ignorance is held in place with either a religious or scientific belief system. Until people are willing to let go of their belief systems, they will keep making the same mistakes.